only about color. And I don't want you to be distracted by the shape of the tree or the leaves individually. When we're going to blend in your drawing skills with your color knowledge, then we're going to put them all together. But right now we're only focusing on color. So this is what we're going to do, and I will show this to you in the demonstration. Eventually, you're going to take the common denominator of every square. So when I see, for example, let me see if I can demonstrate that. There's a lot of the cream, almost cream color of the trunk of the tree, but there's also green in the background. The common denominator is the average between the two. So it's not so that this has a lot of bright blue in it and our eyes catch that, but there's also darkness of the leaves changing the common denominator of the whole square. If you look at a strong pixelated photograph, like low res, then you get the idea that it's built up on these little squares. And the color difference can be so subtle that when you look at this, you don't see it, but there might be a slight difference in color. So I want you to go fine-tune all this, and I'll show it to you in the demonstration how we're going to go about the picture. I will send you the picture as well. If you want to have your own photograph of a still life or something that's really dear to you, please use that. But know that we are in the blue-green area of discovery. So let's go look at the demonstration. This is the photograph I came up with. You might have a different one, but pay attention very carefully to how I get the colors in every square. So I have a template here, 1 by 1 inch template, which makes it a lot easier to get all the squares on the photograph immediately. Now, I told you that this is a color printout. If you need to go to Walgreens and have a photograph taken, then a pencil doesn't probably, you can't do it, but you can do it with a marker and mark the 1 inch square or a ½ inch square on the paper itself. When you have a template, you can cut out one of the squares and put that on the square that you're working on, like I'm doing right now. Now it's real easy to see that in this square there is a little bit of blue and a little bit of green. I told you before, this is part of an oil paint session about blue and green. And we make our color example exactly the same as you have the squares on your photograph. So the paper that you have matches the squares on top of the photograph. Again, this is oil paint, but you're going to do it with colored pencil. The color theory, though, is the same. So don't get confused. You're not going to mix the paint. You're going to layer it with your color pencils. So the square that I have here, now I'm doing a ½ inch squares, is
a mixture between the green and the blue and light green, dark green. So it's the average. And I think you already got that because with the leaves, you totally got that. So we're going from squares to square. This is a little bit darker. And it is pretty intensive, it takes a lot of work. But by covering it, you already see, for example, that this one now is slightly darker. On average, there are darker parts and lighter parts, but the average color is slightly darker. So that's what we're going to look at. Now I'm going to speed up the video so you see what the end result is. Every square has a color. Maybe for yours, the example that you used, the color white in the sky has probably a couple of half-inch squares that are completely white. But in my example, there's nothing completely white. So let's look at the overall result, and please email me if it's still not clear to you, because it only works when you understand and when you see with your own eyes what is happening here. Because from a distance, the pictures will be the same. Layering, for example, you can do the whole tree in this case with a light brown, and then on top of some of them you can add green. So you don't have to do everything constantly one by one. It's easiest when you cover it up, when you cover up the rest, but eventually you see already where you're at, and then you can fill it. You can count it. I counted it a little bit, and I'm working very methodically now from the top to the bottom. You don't have to do that. You can be all over the place. But for example, in the middle part, there's a lot of blue. So what you can do is make a bottom layer with blue, and then add a little bit of green to it. There's different possibilities with colored pencils, but you still want to be accurate in your observation of the average color. I hope this makes it a little bit more clear than the other example that I gave to you. Now, if you squint already, you can see that the photograph and the pixelated version are almost the same. If you would make the pixels even smaller, it would be even more visible. But we're not going to do that. It's just an exercise for the values and the color. Good luck with this, and I would love to see the result. You were on the right path, and we only have to do this once. So that's the only one we're going to really do. And I will look forward to seeing the results.